What's the wire with the politics? Lil Wicced doubled back on Cowboy. After Cowboy did it up, he jumped in the whip and got little. By the time Wicked woke up, he was gone. Cowboy had to sit down with Paul. He was talking about what happened after the fact. He had a happy message to deliver. He said he was finna get on offense for real, but he prayed about it. And he ain't want to interrupt no plans God may have for that man. I said, that's deep for real. Off the dribble, he told Wicked, stop talking crazy to me, man. He forced his hand, essentially. When he was in arm's reach, Cowboy wasn't going for no more disrespect. He wasn't tolerating it at all. They say you get further with honey than shit. Yeah, that may be true in a few cases. But some people take kindness for weakness and they start doing too much. Then you gotta lay the demo down. I'd rather just lay the demo down. We finna skip all these other steps. That's why it's war, in my opinion. People respect violence for sure. Once Thundercat delivered his message with some violence, it was received. You've got mail. What that hat they say? Ring that bell. I'ma bring you mail. Cowboy left Wicked of Blues Clues. All jokes aside though, that's straight things they escalate. They both can keep you rolling. Let's get into Cowboy detailing what happened.
You could be doing good and the world even see the good that you putting out there, but it's always just that small little circle, that area of people that you come up around that show the most hate, right?
Yeah.
We saw that with Nip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I think it's good that you pointed out that, man, I knew that dude. That wasn't like somebody just off the street walking up to me and then that situation happened. No, that I knew that dude personally, because a lot of people didn't know that you know. A lot of people on the outside looking in now, a lot of the people who you know probably know what's going on.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who just looking don't have an idea about what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's human nature, we go back to, Adam and Eve, who they have, Cain and Abel. First two was just Cain and Abel. And what happened? Cain killed Abel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So human nature, and he was jealous because he gave a sacrifice to God and God didn't accept that. You know what I mean? So people get jealous because the masses may like you, because you're a people person. You know what I mean? So that one guy hated Nipsey because he was a popular and he was a positive person. If you don't have that energy, you don't got it, or you can't make this energy up. You can't fake it. A lot of people got money and they fake it and they're not happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. When I seen Nipsey in his casket, I seen that smile, that total peace. I did that. Job well done. You know what I mean? That's what keep me going when I seen that peace in his face. When I seen that, you know what I mean? Like, man, he was greeted. He was greeted with angels. When he died, bam, he had that smirk, nigga. I did that. You know what I mean? So you got to just keep up the good work. Just, you got to keep up the good work and don't fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
But like I said, that was an ongoing problem. But like, my point is, I told this dude 17 times, next time it's going to be me and you. Next time. I turned this cheek, I turned that cheek. I got two more cheeks and you can't get them. So, you know what I mean? I did all that I could to, I humbled myself multiple times, and it was that time for the rubber to meet the road. So
yeah. And it's funny that you say you turned this cheek and that cheek, because I was gonna ask you, because I was gonna bring up, it says in Matthew 5:39 to turn to them the other cheek, but you like, I turned my cheek,
man,
and it wasn't nothing else that I could do.
Yeah,
I had to stand up for myself.
I only
in that
had
moment.
two more cheeks left, and you can't get them cheeks. God only gave me 4 cheeks. These two right here and 2 other cheeks. You can't get them cheeks, man. You know what I mean? So I humble myself. Other than that, I would feel pride is one thing. I don't have that type of pride. You can say whatever you want about me. I'm a humble person. You know what I mean? But if you disrespect me and you definitely in range, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? You could choose to talk it out, because even after that situation, dude decided to pull back up, on some sneak tip, you know what I mean? But he had 2 options. You could have got out and said, you know what, I need my get back. You know what I mean? But instead you chose to do your surveillance to do whatever you had to do and get on. You know what I mean? So you had a couple options. You could have came jumped out, you know, and you say, you know what, I was out of line. But his statement was like, don't start playing with me. I was in the middle of you start playing with me. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I just sit back and laugh and I prayed about it. You know what I mean? Cause I went into I was about to go into offense mode, and I said, you know what? Let me pray about it, and I'll put it in God's hands. You know, cause God may have something in store for that dude. You know what I mean? I don't want to interrupt that plan. You know what I mean? So just I'll put it in his hands. You know what I mean? And I felt bad about myself because, you know, my faith in God is so strong, and for me to run to a blower, you know what I mean? I was like, that's disrespecting my God. My God's stronger than that. I can't run to none of that. You know what I mean? I don't need that. Bro got my back, so I had to show the ultimate faith that, you know what, I don't need this. You know what I mean? So, you know, I felt bad. You know what I mean? Like that. You know, I let my God down if I got to run to a weapon. You know what I mean? When I got the ultimate weapon, you know what I mean? So, yeah, that was my learning lesson this week. You know what I mean? I guess that was God's lesson for me. You know what I mean? And hopefully God taught that dude a lesson as well.
I expected Wicked to be doing some doubling back or pulling up on somebody. I thought it was gonna be 600 and Eddie Boy. He ain't know what pier they was on now. He was just walking along the shore, sand all in his socks and shit. He made his way back to Hyde Park and Crenshaw like, let me holler at Cowboy, By the time he got there, his feet was hurting, dogs barking, bunions bleeding. He ain't even had no energy to argue, let alone squabble. Cowboy may have gotten deeper in his faith after Hustle's demise. He mentioned he seen a smile on Nip's face, and he was at peace when he was in his casket. That was a heavy loss for him. He could have fell back to drugs easily, but he prayed for understanding. Ain't nobody perfect. I tip my hat to Cowboy though. His contribution and his energy is what sparked the next to make groundbreaking moves, you know? Nip was empowered by his team, and of course his grind, but you need dudes like Cowboy around in my opinion. When you outside, you're gonna be battle tested. I seen plenty of dudes get weeded out, chewed up for real. Oh no, where does Lil Wicced at? That's RSC politics. But he did something a lot of dudes won't do, and that's pull up when the temperature hot. He doubled back at that. Like Cowboy said, it could have went to the next level, but it didn't. I just want to highlight the end result of this, man. Salute the Cowboy for their major growth. Keep pushing your message on me. It ain't falling on deaf ears. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. Political street views? No, fake news.